Hello there, and welcome to our elite FPL.
Yeah.
Hello there, and welcome to our elite FPL podcast, previewing the upcoming game week 8 with myself, Mr. Ball, my good friend Steve-O.
Hello there.
And our friend Jason as well, who's sitting top of our league. And we're going to be previewing the upcoming game week, talking about the players to watch, and obviously looking at our teams as well and assessing how well we're doing and looking ahead, and also giving our game week predictions for the scores ahead. So, we'll pass this up over to Steve-O.
Yeah, so as we were just discussing pre-record, we were talking basically about our teams and who we're kind of concerned with and everything. If I'm honest with you, I'm not really concerned with my team as it stands. I'm more interested in Jason in the sense of, at the end of the day, Jason, you're in the top 900. Do you know how many points you are from the top 100? Do you have any idea how far you are off that? Because last week it was only about 19 points, wasn't it? So I'm guessing it's going to be roughly the same, I guess.
No, I think I'm a little bit further away now. So I'm on 516. And so I think the top 100, going on my phone now. God, you put me on the spot. So top 100, you're looking at
I suppose the reason why I'm asking
20 points. So I was 18 points. I was 18 points off of the 100 place last game week, and I'm now 20 points off.
And is there any players in your team you're kind of thinking, oh God, I'm kind of worried about their form now, their fixtures coming up. I'm kind of wanting to get rid of them to try and catch that, the top 100.
In terms of, well, there's a couple of things. I mean, in general, no, I'm not too concerned. I'm not at the point of having to consider doing a hit. I was a little bit worried that David Silva played I think he played all the game midweek. But Gundogan got injured, so that's a good sign for David Silva owners. Not so good if you're Simon Bellamy, because I know in our mini league he's got that asset Gundogan. So unfortunately for Simon, he's probably going to have to look at other options. But David Silva, I think, will start against Liverpool, so I'm not too concerned about that. It's a big fixture. I think Pep's would be silly not to play him, especially with KDB being out still. Hazard, speaks for himself. Salah, he's still in my team. Still a solid pick. I think he's going to get some good returns going forward. And I would look. My only concerns, like I touched on it a second ago, Fraser and Wilson, 2 Bournemouth assets. Probably a little bit too many. One too many Bournemouth assets in my team now. May look at going Fraser to Knockout, or maybe looking at changing elsewhere in the future game weeks. But certainly after making my one transfer this week, I don't want to be taking a point hit. My bench isn't looking amazingly strong, but they're all playing, so they've always got a chance of doing something.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking live as you were speaking. I think my only concern is Lucas Moura. Ever since his heroics versus, obviously your team, Man United, he's done nothing. And he's the only player in my team where I'm thinking, I think he's 7.4 at the moment. I got him at 7.3. And for me, he's just not performing for a player that's playing for such an elite club in Tottenham. Tottenham are scoring goals. He should be getting at least a minimum of an assist for if they're scoring multiple goals. He's getting absolutely nothing. He is my only, off the top of my head, only major concern. Callum Wilson's another one. I'm sick to death of him now. I've looked at his stats. He's getting so many chances, but he's just not putting them away. He seems to be more of a home player than he is an away player as well. And that's kind of helped me along with the Mitrovic-Wilson kind of away-home rotation. So, yeah, really 2 players. I mean, Dan, have you got any players that you're a bit concerned about?
Possibly Mitrovic, although, I mean,
really?
I don't know. This conundrum about Arnautovic, like his performance against, sorry Jay, it feels like I'm just bashing you all the time, but his performance against Man United on the weekend was brilliant, and some reasonable fixtures coming up. I know they've got Brighton on the weekend. There's always been that thing. I've always loved to play 3 strikers, and now I've got 2 premium strikers because I brought Kane in. Always been that third striker that's been a bit of a problem. It was Tosin at the start of the season, and ironically he scored against home, which really dug it in for me with Carson as captain. But and then, as you said, Callum Wilson, who's been missing loads of clear chances this season, although he's had plenty of assists, so Bournemouth have done well from that. So, yeah, there's that little thing in my head about that as well. But generally pretty happy. I mean, I only played my wild card 2 weeks ago and obviously took a 4-point hit last week, so I don't want to be taking any hits this week. I think that's the main thing for me. Pleased with the differentials, obviously Patricio, Doherty, he got 12 points last game week, so that's fantastic. Maddison got an assist as well, so that was solid. But yeah, Lucas Moura, for anyone who's not watched before, I'm an Arsenal fan, so going to the league, I had to have an instant reaction then. But yeah, Lucas Moura, he nearly did score against Huddersfield on the weekend, but the shot was saved. So plum fixture against Cardiff though, so I might just hang on to Moura for another game week. So maybe just one change this game week coming, I'm thinking.
Yeah, you mentioned Harry Kane there. He's the one player, him and for me Salah are the two which I'm kind of very concerned about. Although at this present moment, Harry Kane's got the best fixture coming up, is Cardiff.
Yes.
I mean, we've got Liverpool versus City at the weekend. Salah's record versus City is excellent. And I think between the two, it's so difficult to call. Now, you've got them both, Jason. So you're kind of in that spot. And you've also got Hazard as well. So you've got the three of the four biggest hitting players within the game. And I think, if I'm honest with you, I think you possibly made a mistake in keeping Salah. That's just to up the rankings. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that having Salah is kind of like good in the sense of he's owned by X amount of percentage. It's something like 44% of the game. Right, so that kind of covers the basis. But I think if you'd have got rid of Salah, you could have made your position within our mini league and the overall ranking a lot more stronger, because you could have boosted up other areas of your pitch with not just differentials, but just players that are doing... I mean, Richarlison is a prime example. Maddison is a couple. If you had these players, have you not been tempted over the past 2 weeks getting rid of Salah? I know we discussed it to death, but it's such a talking point. I mean, Dan this week got rid of him.
I felt like I actually voice messaged you, didn't I, on WhatsApp, and I said I've done something really silly on my team. It's like as if it's something really serious had happened or something when you send a message like that. But I was like, oh no, you know, what have I done? But then I thought about the pictures coming off, and I thought about the form, and then I watched the Liverpool-Chelsea match on the weekend, and Salah, as you know, as Jay was saying,
off, didn't he? Subbed off when they were losing.
Yeah, and his performance wasn't on. But we do know that after this fixture against Man City, although obviously he's got a good record against Man City, the fixtures turned favourable again.
Yes.
And that's the real conundrum for most fantasy managers. Really.
That's the reason why I'm keeping hold of him. The fixtures are swinging in Salah's favour, and I think it comes down to this gut feeling that I have inside that if I was to take him out, I just know he's going to come into massive great form, and it's easier to keep him in the team and shuffle elsewhere, especially when I was on the wild card and subsequent transfers and having to set a team out without him in and then try to bring him in when he does come into form. But yeah, I was down. I was torn at one point whether or not it was a good idea to keep him in. I know a lot of people have lost patience with him. All this season, especially with you guys in previous podcasts, I've been singing his praises in terms of his positioning, his threat. His chances of scoring are still quite high. I just feel that keeping them in is a sensible move, and I'm going to go and stick with it. Well, I can't really change mine now, can I? So yeah.
Are there any players, Jason, looking ahead that you're wishing that you're wanting to bring in at all? Is there any players off the top of your head you can think of which you're like, you know what?
Yes.
Their fixtures coming up. I mean, Dan's already mentioned Arnautovic.
Yeah, first name. So first name I thought of was Arnautovic. As soon as Dan brought it up, it was great because his fixtures are looking really nice. Knockout, yeah, he's a good budget midfield option. and Sterling is a bit more expensive.
Oh, don't run
But
I think,
11 million though. It's a lot of money.
Oh no.
but even like things, it was silly because you know I was even looking at doing a Cedric to Doherty before making the decision to transfer in Kane. But you know, I don't know. I just you can look at you can look at all these different ways of trying to like strengthen your team and try and move funds around and freeing funds up for other players. But you know, you know, especially when I've wildcarded for a reason. I've got faith with these players. You know, you know, I looked at their fixtures. They've still got a couple of fixtures to go before I look at transferring the likes of Fraser. You know, maybe even one of my attackers, Wilson, as another example. I mean, their fixtures are swinging around soon, and Bournemouth is going to. You know, it's the same as Fulham. Bournemouth are great looking attacking, but they're very vulnerable in defence. So, you know, with Fulham's attack with Mitrovic, you know, having him in my team, I'm happy because a lot of their attacking threat comes through Mitrovic. But if they're trying to defend the majority of the game because their defence isn't so good, then doesn't bode well for attacking returns. So you have to factor in team performance when you come to player selection. So, so yeah, I think going back to what I was saying about making decisions early on with the wild card that I did, and obviously what you guys did, you've got to try and stick with your plan and try not to deviate off it too much. Try not to take too many hits, just because you're seeing other people transferring in, you know, the likes of, you know, Arnautovic, Sterling, Kane. I mean, you may not be in the position to do that without taking an 8-point hit. And is it the best thing to do? You know, that's obviously a risk. And obviously, I know Steve-O's taking risks, taking hits. So it'd be interesting to see what he does.
Well, it's interesting you say, just to add to what you said about Fulham. Obviously, Mensah was injured last game week, and that means Sessegnon will probably play left back now as well. So, I mean, I'm looking ahead. Obviously, Fulham have got us on the weekend, so looking after that, hopefully, from an Arsenal fan perspective. But looking at it from an FPL perspective, you also got Schürrle as well, and that's another interesting one because he started the season fairly well. We've had dips and waves, but that could be one that I would say that could be a differential coming forward. Quite a low ownership at the moment as well.
I've heard a lot of Fulham fans were actually saying about Sessegnon that he's not really happy playing at left back. Even though ironically that was his original position. Then he was made to play on the front three, wasn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Did so well last year, and then this year it's kind of like he's been constantly switched all the time.
Well, I mean, he was a player I got in early on, and you were sort of saying why Sessegnon. He had a great record in the Championship, and it was just, as we always do at that start of the season, you look at players who've done well the previous season, even in the Championship, as a differential. But I mean, actually, even the game against Everton, he hit the crossbar and it went back down. And I was thinking, oh, he's never gonna. And now to be pushed back to left back is, you know, going to restrict that even more. But they've got Tom Kearney.
Tom Kearney, yes.
Sorry, yeah, Tom Kearney.
Back
sorry,
this
for the
weekend.
fans. Yeah, back. So that's important for them. So, but yeah, Knockout's an interesting one. Arnautovic, and yeah, plenty of differentials to be found out there if you're willing to look.
Well, something that Jason was mentioning, fixtures and form, and something that I always look at personally is, well, it's our favourite time of the week. It's the predictions for the upcoming game week, and this is something that I always look at. This is for me. Now, again, classic example. Last week I said about Hazard having such a good record against Liverpool, and that could be a really good differential captain. Surprise, surprise, if I'd have captained him, which I said, I told you this. I said to you the other day, each week I change my team immediately for the following one. Who did I have as captain the whole week? Hazard. Who did I change it to? Aguero. I missed out on 4 points. It may not seem a lot, but it's 4 points I missed out on. And the history said it all. And as we know, between people that are new to this, we have a thing where myself and Dan predict the games. We go up against the history for a bit of fun, and we total up the score. So you get 1 point for the correct outcome, 2 points for the bang-on, nailed-on scoreline. And at the moment, unfortunately, I left my notes back at home, but I believe the history won this week as well. And off the top of my head, I think they've got 5 game weeks right against Dan's 3 and my 2 or 1 or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, this weekend we kick off on Friday night. It's a Friday night
kickoff. Remember that for
yes.
teams.
So
it's caught up by that.
It's Brighton versus West Ham United. This is going to be... I mean, West Ham's form is excellent at the moment, and that's why I'm plumbing for a 2-1 victory to West Ham. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, West Ham, I mean, they had a bad start to the season, but beating Everton, draw against Chelsea, beat United. Sorry, Jay. Sorry. But, yeah, and Brighton, you know, they've had some decent results this season, but I think I'll go for West Ham in the form they've got, and I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory for West Ham.
Well, funny you say that, because the history is suggesting a 3-1 victory to Brighton.
Well, Brighton fans, I could be wrong.
Jason, do you have any thoughts on this game? Or
1-0 West Ham, Martin Arnautovic goal.
1-0.
Specific.
So moving on to my boys, it's Burnley versus Huddersfield. Have we turned the tide? It's 2 victories in a row in the Premier League. However, in between that was this desperate loss against Burton. And I thought that may have disrupted us.
Yes.
I genuinely thought, here we go again. You just use that word, let's get the momentum going, and we lose to Burton of all teams. And then we go and win against
Cardiff.
2-1. Cardiff in an absolute drab of a game. 2-1, and we're up against Huddersfield, who, unfortunately, like Cardiff and Newcastle, one of the worst teams of 3 in the Premier League. Ironically, like us as well. I think we're going to edge it. I think we'll just edge it. I think Huddersfield are going to score, though. I'm going to go 2-1 to Burnley.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Hart's playing well, isn't he? Had another good performance away to Cardiff. He won the battle.
Almost redeemed himself since joining us.
Yeah, he's done really well. It's good to see him doing well. Burnley, I think, like I said, we talk about momentum and form. Beat Bournemouth 4-0. Really important win away to Cardiff. Huddersfield, I think Huddersfield are going down this season. They just, I mean, there was a stat saying that Harry Kane is the top Premier League goal scorer, or joint top Premier League goal scorer at Huddersfield's stadium.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it's tricky for Huddersfield, as much spirit as they've got, but I'm going to say 2-1 to Burnley.
And the history is going with a drab 1-1. Again, Jason, any thoughts on this game, or move on?
Much like the Cardiff game, I can't see it being very fun for the neutral to watch. I think that it's going to be. I think again, it's going to be a 1-goal decider. And going on form, I'm going to go with Burnley 1-0.
1-0 to Burnley. I'll take any win.
Yeah.
Well, on to Monday night's team who conceded that last-minute penalty really against Bournemouth. It's Crystal Palace up against Wolves, and as we all know, Wolves doing extremely well this year. I think they've got the ruggedness to... I think it's going to be 1-1. I think that both teams are going to be wanting to get a point out of this, really. I think Roy Hodgson will notice Wolves' strengths, and yeah, I think it'll just end. I think they'll cancel each other out, and I'm going to go 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, Palace are going to be kicking themselves for losing that game on Monday, because they were really strong in the second half, and there wasn't really much in it. A draw would have been a fair result, but obviously they lost. And Wolves are on this really great run. Got that point at Old Trafford. They beat Southampton 2-0. And Wolves are looking really strong. And I'm going to go for a Wolves win, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Wolves. Hoping for a clean sheet with Patricio and Doherty.
The thing is with that, it's like, while Palace were very unlucky to lose that game with a moment of Sacco madness.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
The goal that they scored from was it Van Aanholt was clearly offside. So it
was offside. It was a great.
So justice was served in that sense.
Yeah, great finish though.
And I think that personally that Wolves are this year's surprise team in the fact that not only are they starting to look like a really well-oiled machine, they really do like playing it out from the back. They've got some really talented architects in their team. Neves, Coutinho, just running the midfield. And I think that Crystal Palace kind of like the counter-attack. So it's going to be really interesting to see how each team sets up. And you mentioned cancelling each other out. Could definitely be a case of cancelling each other. I could definitely see a 0-0 in that game.
Oh,
okay. History's going with 2-1. And I must state this. The history this season is doing really, really well. And the reason why it's beating me and Dan is because it's getting a lot of the games spot on. So last week, I think it got 4 games spot on. So if you're a betting person, I know Pete Andrews watches this, maybe correct score lines, putting his money on a few pennies on the correct score lines. But moving on to, I personally think the next game, goals galore. It's Leicester versus Everton. Everton, of course, were knocked out of the League Cup last night by, Southampton.
Really?
Yes, they lost on penalties. And
Cedric, I think Cedric got the winner, didn't he?
No, they went to penalty. Oh, but what is a penalty?
The winning penalty, I think Cedric took it.
Oh, I don't know anything about that, but I know that Danny he scored.
It's an asset of mine. I was excited about.
So okay, yeah. I'm gonna go with a high-scoring 2-2 draw.
I think it'll be a really entertaining game, actually.
Yes, agreed.
Both teams like to attack. Leicester, Vardy, Iniacho, Maddison, Everton under Silva. That was a great win for them last weekend, and I'm going to steal your prediction. I'm going to go 2-2 as well.
I mean, Jason. You haven't got Maddison. Maddison just seems to be getting attacking points each week. Any thoughts on possibly getting in Vardy as a cheap? He's 8.9, but
there is only one striker that I would possibly take a hit for. There was one striker that I was going to look at getting in, other than Harry Kane, and he is a bargain. Currently at 9.5, playing a central attacking role for a very attacking team in the Premier League.
Arsenal, Lacazette.
Yeah, we did mention Lacazette.
Well, I was going to come on to it later.
Lacazette. Anyway, we'll come on to him. We'll come on to him in a minute. But I want that game to be called off. Rain. I do not want to be watching that game. That there's a lot of assets in that game which I don't own, and I'm very concerned about. So I want Leicester to be flooding the weekend and the game to be called off, so I don't have to hide behind the sofa looking at Maddison points or Charlison points.
Well, I must say, this is, for me personally, a test for Richarlison. He failed the first test against Fulham, got nothing against Fulham.
I captained him, for God's sake.
Yeah, he's up against the leaky Leicester defence, albeit they actually didn't concede. But then again, they're playing Newcastle, so it doesn't really say anything. I think this is, for me, Richarlison's last chance, possibly. If he can't do anything against Fulham or Leicester, I think he may have to go for my team. Yeah, the history's going with a 2-1 victory. Now then, the next game is what I believe the whole planet is going to be captaining, and I just have this. Every time Tottenham play at 3 o'clock at Wembley or at White Hart Lane, I've noticed that they don't seem to destroy teams. They always seem to end up winning 1-0 or whatever. However, they've got a nice, tasty fixture this week. It's against Cardiff. We all know how poor Cardiff are. I'm personally going with a 3-0 battery. I was thinking 4, but Dan, what do you think on Tottenham versus Cardiff?
For those who haven't watched the podcast before, I do a dead cert bet every week. There's no such thing as a dead cert in football betting, but just for a little bit of fun. And Liverpool and Man City play each other this week, and I've been betting on them each week. So this week, I've got to pick another fixture, and I'm going to go for this fixture as my dead cert. I think Tottenham, obviously, they got the win against...
Well, just to interject, when I tell you what the history is, you may want to revise that, but carry on.
All right. Tottenham got a good win against Huddersfield. Cardiff, they're putting in a great effort, and their fans are great, but they're struggling, let's be honest. And Kane's got his confidence back now. I think it's going to be... I'm going to go 3-0 as well to Tottenham.
Well, as I just alluded to, the history is on Tottenham's side. a lot of 1-0 victories. And I mean a lot. I think it's been 3. It's been, see Jason's face. It's been, I think, 3 1-0s and 0-0 involved with Cardiff.
It would be Tottenham letting me down with this survey, wouldn't it?
Right, I'm captaining Salah now.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, this week is a very, very difficult one to predict. I don't think that there's not going to be a battering. I don't think. I've just said Tottenham, but the history is not suggesting anybody's going to get battered other than Brighton at home to West Ham. But we're not talking about them. Yeah, I mean Tottenham to beat Cardiff 1-0 is what the history's saying. Jason, you brought in Harry Kane. You've already said you're going to captain him. The history's doing really well this season with its predictions. Does that concern you?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. I mean, we're all going to.
Does it concern me? This year. This is Harry Kane's turn of form. He's starting to get amongst the goals now. It's his time to own him. Hat-trick Harry this weekend, my friend.
Heard it here first. Okay, so on to Watford versus Bournemouth. Watford sliding down the table. They had their opening easy month, and now they're just coming off the rails a bit. However, they're up against Bournemouth, who we've already discussed. We're a bit lucky against Crystal Palace, and I think Watford will just about get past him. I'm going to go 2-1, Dan.
Stole the thought out of my head. I watched Arsenal Watford last weekend, and obviously watched Crystal Palace Bournemouth. Watford were unlucky. Watford were the better team against us, and on another day, if Isaac's Success scores that goal, they're going home with the points. So I think Watford will carry on. They've been good at home this season, and I think it will be 2-1 to Watford.
2-1 to Watford.
With 2 Bournemouth assets in my team, this is the one fixture that I am not expecting anything from. Watford are looking very good, and Bournemouth, I watched them Monday nights. They showed great attacking threat, but defensively they were quite vulnerable. And Watford, I can see Watford having majority possession. And I'm probably going to go with a Watford 2-0 to Watford. Not good for my Fraser and Wilson. Let's hope I'm wrong about that.
So on to a team who I've been courting as bringing some players from. They're up against one of the worst teams in the league as it stands. However, you could argue which one of the teams is worse. It's Man United coming on the back of a loss and apparently a terrible 0-0 draw against Valencia. They're up against Newcastle. Every time I predict a Man United easy clean sheet, they always concede. I'm going to go with, against everything, I'm going to go with a 2-0 victory to United. Only because Newcastle, they're just terrible.
I mean, the problem Newcastle have got, even when I watched them against Arsenal earlier in the season, their quality in the final third is terrible. And they haven't got a striker who can Hossey's not going to score big amount of goals. Rondon has not really hit it off. And yeah, it's the perfect fixture for Man United, really, amidst all of this. I think Man United, without looking at the history, I know they've got a good record at home to Newcastle. Yeah. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Man United. Now, Jay, obviously you're a big Man United fan. What do you make of all this? The recent games, we touched upon it before, and do you think the tide's going to turn for United, or is it going to be another frustrating day at Old Trafford?
I think that the fixture is a good fixture for United, that they would be expected to win, even with the circus that's going on at the moment. With this game week, I would expect United to get a win, and a 2-0 is a good prediction. Let's just hope that you guys are right, because it's about time that we started kicking on and trying to push towards the top half of the table.
So, the history's going with not a comfortable. The results haven't been that great versus Newcastle, but winnable 2-1 to United. Now we move on to Super Sunday. Last week it was just the one game. This week we got 3. It kicks off with your boys, Dan, away at Fulham. 12 o'clock kickoff. I wonder if that will have an effect. You must be at home tomorrow night.
No, we're in Azerbaijan.
Oh, right.
Karabakh, yeah, and that's the earlier Europa League kick-off, 5 to 6. So he's going to rotate that team. Mkhitaryan's not going because of security concerns. And, yeah, so there's a few different... I'm expecting a much-changed team tomorrow. But, yeah, pleased with the victory against Watford. But as I said, Everton, Watford have come. I don't know how we've kept 2 clean sheets against those 2 teams. They've had so many chances. But no, good. Fulham will let us play, I think. And come on, Arsenal, let's do this. And I think we're going to get a nice, I say nice, it might be close, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory. And I think Mesut Ozil's going to score. So you had it here first. Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm thinking of changing that, actually. I think I am going to change it. I think I'm going to go 2-0. There's something about Fulham which says to me that, like you said, they allow people to play.
Yeah, that's
and they allow a lot of chances. And your team, like you said, you've kept 2 clean sheets. 6 games in a row you've won. I don't know, including the cups, maybe it's 7 in a row.
7 in a row, yeah.
You're on excellent form at the moment. I'm actually going to go with a 2-0 victory. And Jason brought up Lacazette. And again, I keep saying this, a player who I wish I'd brought in now. I wish I'd gone with the 3-5-2 formation originally, which was going to be Lacazette paired with Aguero. Doing well for you, isn't he?
Yeah, he was probably contender along with Iwobi because Iwobi come off the bench. Watch Iwobi's form because he had a part in both goals and he's leaned up this season. He's showing that potential again. But like I say, he just worked. He had the most chances of any striker this game week just gone. That's a stat that I saw earlier. But he just worked so hard and he knows that he's got to put the effort into it.
So Dan, I think it's a good time to just ask you, as an Arsenal fan, are you happy with the state of Arsenal? You know, because obviously there's been all this negativity around the club, you know, last season, and Wenger's last season, and obviously now with Unai Emery in charge, can you see almost like a new beginning for your club?
I think it's still early to judge. I was always of the mindset of that I'm going to see what happens over the next couple of seasons because as I've alluded to before, so much has changed in the last year, not just on the pitch but behind the scenes as well. It's pleasing to see a manager on the touchline giving the instructions and really not saying that Wenger didn't have passion. Of course he did, but just showing that passion on the touchline. It's pleasing to see Torreira, Socrates, a bit of
good team, really.
Fire in the team. You know, people that are gonna kick people and like take them out. Yeah, it's pleasing to see that. That is different. And
the old Vieira days.
Yeah, the Keown, the Vieira days, the good old days. And it's early because I mean we talked about winning 7 games in a row. Some of those fixtures have been, you know, games you expect to win, but being Everton and Watford is very pleasing. A good season for me would be finish. Honest to God, I think to finish in the top 6. I'll be honest with you because I think it's going to be very tough to break into that top 4 this season, and we still have a problem in midfield that we don't have so much width apart from Iwobi. So I'm hoping for that Europa League win, 2nd time lucky. So, fingers crossed.
Well, the history is just to get this going with another 2-1 victory here. So on to a possible differential captain choice. And it's Southampton. I'm not suggesting a Southampton player. Who they're playing Chelsea. And we all know who I'm going to be talking about. It's Eden Hazard. He's having a stormer of a season. His manager's putting all the faith in him, saying he's the greatest player in the world. He's going to be up there with Messi, Ronaldo. Whether that's the case or not, he's doing really well this season for Chelsea. And you know what? He'll be rested, won't he, tomorrow?
Yes,
the
Europa League. Yeah, I think he will be rested. Like you said, he got the goal. against Liverpool, the hat-trick against Cardiff before. And he's just playing with that freedom and that confidence. He's not having to worry about getting back into.
Yeah, I heard this the other week. Antonio Conte wanted him to defend a lot more, and now he's been told, "I don't want you to defend. You're an attacker."
Yeah, so that's his attacking philosophy.
Yeah,
and you can just see he's playing with a smile on his face. And for Chelsea fans, it's brilliant because they thought he was going to go in the summer. Yeah. They lost the goalkeeper, Courtois, but yeah, I think this game, oh man, I'm tempted to captain Hazard, but my mind's just thinking, no, you've taken a risk last game week. Don't be stupid, captain Kane. But the voice in my head saying, but no, Hazard's playing really well.
Does it not concern you though that after both Europa games that they've drawn the next Premier League games? So they drew 0-0 with West Ham, 1-1, albeit with Liverpool, and they could have won that 1-0. It was that last-minute Sturridge goal, of course.
Yes, I mean, a brilliant goal.
I think it's Southampton. They are awful. I think that Chelsea will easily get past them. I'm going to go with 2-0. And will I captain Hazard? He's not really been in my thoughts, but, you know, Dan, what do you think on the actual scoreline?
Yeah, I think Southampton will be pleased to win that game in the League Cup just to give their fans some joy, really. I don't know if they're going to stay up. The only thing that will keep them up, Danny Ings, Charlie Austin, they've got goal scorers that might just propel them up above the likes of Huddersfield, Cardiff and Newcastle, I don't know. So, but I'll go for a 2-0 win to Chelsea as well, and I reckon Hazard will score.
No, it's just a clean house there. We're all going 2-0. So let's be honest here. It's the biggest game of the season so far. We had the Liverpool-Chelsea game last week, which ended 1-1, as we know. It's Liverpool-Man City this week. Oh,
yeah, I can't wait to watch it.
This is going to be absolutely extraordinary. I honestly can't call it. I'm sitting on the fence. I'm going 1-1, despite Liverpool's... The history is going with a 2-1 victory to Liverpool. Their history with City is very, very good. And I just see goals galore.
Yeah.
I just see goals galore.
This is a proper Super Sunday game. I think we're all three of us, everyone watching it, it's just going to be brilliant. Hopefully a brilliant game to watch. Two attacking teams, lots of attacking flair there. Liverpool, they got the result against Chelsea, and that'll be a big boost to them. And Sturridge is looking good as a differential.
Can I ask, do you think that now they've strengthened up their defence? Actually, now they're thinking, I think, try and keep a clean sheet and get a 1-goal win rather than, well, we've got a rubbish defence, so let's just attack. Because that's how I kind of see Liverpool these days. It's solid defence, and they've got a balance now. Whereas beforehand, it was always just, we've got 3 players that can just score whenever they want. If they score 1, we're going to score 3. Now it's a case of we'll score 1.
I think you might be onto something there because Man City's, I mean, Stones isn't the fastest, and I think that Mane and Salah could exploit the attacking fullbacks of Man City, and it's either going to be a drab 1-goal winner or it's going to be a goal galore game, isn't it?
I remember last.
Actually, when you built it up like that, it's kind of made me a little bit sad that I've only got one asset from each team in my fantasy team. So I'm like, I've got David Silva and I've got Salah. So yeah, let's hope we're in for a good show in that game.
Do you possibly consider Salah captain worthy in this, considering his history?
I think that if anyone captains Salah in our league, I can completely understand the logic of it. And I think he's got a great chance to score against Man City. I mean, a really strong history of scoring against Man City. I think it's a choice, definitely. He's definitely going to be an option this game week. Salah, Hazard and Kane, and Sterling, obviously. And Aguero. Of course, Aguero. But the strongest would be Kane. I would say if I was going to pick the strongest to the weakest out of those options, it would be Harry Kane as being the strongest with the fixture he's got. And then I'm going to say Salah above Hazard. I know it sounds silly, but I really think that Salah, this could be the game that everyone goes, oh my God, I need to get him in.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah. Do you think that if Salah, let's just say, for argument's sake, Liverpool win, and like I said, the history is actually on Liverpool's side. So Liverpool win, but Salah does nothing and he gets substituted after, like he did last time, 67 minutes.
Yeah.
Are you now thinking, what if, again, they're playing tonight against Napoli?
Yes.
Another team that loves to attack. Imagine Liverpool scoring a few goals. Salah does nothing. What's going through your mind, Jace? What do you think?
I think blind faith it can only go so far. And if this time next week we're discussing what on earth has happened to Mo Salah, then he's going to be in the firing lines of transfer out for me. Definitely, I think that I would be. I think I'd be mocked quite a bit if I kept hold of him. 12.9 in my midfield. If he's not performing or he's not getting the points, then he's just wasting funds that you can allocate elsewhere. And although I'm confident that he's going to do well against City, if he doesn't, then yeah, unfortunately I'm going to have to think about it. And obviously the downside to that is I'm going to have to take a 4-point hit. Because if I take him out, I'm going to have excess money, and if I take him out, it's going to be up to upgrade another. Because there's no point taking him out like for like and having funds in the bank, in my opinion. If I'm going to go to the length of taking him out, it'll be for the betterment of my team. Therefore, to bring in, especially when I'm spending 4 points, I want to make a transfer that I feel is going to bring not only points to cover that transfer, but points to make the transfer worthwhile doing.
I mean, Dan, you didn't actually mention what you think the score was.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, I mean,
you want to go on this?
No, of course. It was the last season I watched the game. It's a brilliant game. 4-3 to Liverpool. And then in the Champions League, they won 3-0 at home. They beat them 2-1 away. So Klopp's got this kind of, hoodoo sign over Guardiola from last season. So they were actually Man City being 5-0. At the start of the season, but that was when Mane got sent off.
That's right. Yeah.
So I'm going to go 2-2 for this game.
2-2?
Yeah, I was watching it. And Robertson, I've got still on my team. I've a little think about that one. So that, and obviously Aguero, but and that's it really.
It's going to be fascinating, Jason. I think there we are, Dan.
Yeah, Jay, have you got a prediction for the game? We've talked it to death, but have you got a scoreline in mind?
Yeah, I think that it's going to be Liverpool that come on top, and I think it's going to be 3-2 to Liverpool.
Wow, okay, yeah. So, thanks everyone for watching. Hope you've enjoyed our preview of the upcoming game week 8. And if you've enjoyed the video, please like it, subscribe to the channel, comment below of anything you'd like us to feature in a future podcast. And thanks for watching again. Enjoy your football and see you next time round. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, Dan.
Bye, guys.